It's like this morning we've got a psychologist who is also an author. His name is Tabang Tlaga, and he wrote a book called The Temptation of Mr. Married. And I really cannot wait to have this conversation with him because here on the Midnight Snack, we talk all things love, intimacy, and relationships. Tabang, thank you so much for joining us on the Midnight Snack, and good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good, thanks. So let's talk about your book, The Temptation of Mr. Married. What is it
Yes.
about?
It's a book about the struggles that men go through. So when we think temptation, we often think affairs, but there are many other temptations. So in the book, you come across different characters. You have a Mr. Newly Married, the kind of temptations that he experiences. There's a Mr. Silent Anger, the temptation to keep quiet. You meet Mr. Hubristic Pride, so the temptation to have pride. And so uh, very often people in relationships are tempted to do many things. So I argue in the book that sometimes you want to understand what you're going through and you want to work through the temptation. You need to be tested. As I say in the book, how can he be trusted if he's never tested? And so it's a book about the different struggles that men go through, but I'm arguing for men to be resilient, to be strong, to be able to work through temptation so that they can have better relationships.
I think, growing up
Yeah.
as men, we are sort of, I don't know if we're trained to keep to ourselves and
Yeah.
not speak out.
Yeah.
And you find that when we are in friendships or brotherhood, we don't speak about our struggles. We don't speak about the fact that I am struggling in bed or I am struggling with the kids because it almost feels like when you confess that you've got a problematic teenager who you can't reprimand, then it means you're a weak man.
Yeah.
So, what message do you have to men out there who are silent, who are not speaking out to their fellow brothers for help?
We are socialized in that way. So society tells us that a man must be stoic. Don't show your feelings. You have to be strong. You have to be tough, and we enjoy that. And then two, we like men like winning. We like doing well. We like being competent. And so when we are struggling, we almost take that as if we are weak. We are not men enough. So in asking for help, I find men take it as if it's like I'm weak. So there is a socialization, but there is something that we chase. We chase trying to be competent and things like that. But the price is that when a man, when he's going through a difficulty and he doesn't talk, he internalizes that, and it may manifest then in things like depression, aggression. Will misunderstand a man behaving in a very strange way, inappropriately, but what he could be struggling with is things he's never dealt with, traumas he's experienced, and because he's silent, as we say, as mental health professionals, you cannot not communicate. So the thing will come out. And so if you are silent, but there are things you want to say, then you won't talk. And then the other thing with silence is sometimes you need to say something as a man, and when you are silent, things go wrong because you chose not to open your mouth. Often, I work with couples and I reflect on that a lot, right? But for me, the best understanding for love is what we call the highest good, right? So when you love somebody, what you want is you are seeking the highest good, what is highly good for them. And our society usually says, when we say we love people, what we mean is we like how they make us feel. So it's not a giving kind of love, but it's like a love that wants, that demands, that I will be moved when you respond to me. But so when we talk about authentic love, we are talking about a love that cares for another, loving somebody or something for its own sake. And you're not necessarily looking for something to be received, but you're willing to give, and you wanted to see it in its purest form, in its highest form, in its most beautiful form. And when you talk about authentic love, that's what we're talking about. It's not hidden, it's not masked, it's not a pretense kind of love. It's vulnerable, it's true, it's pure. And so when you talk about that, you're talking about the I would say then an authentic kind of love, because you care about the highest good, and it's a giving kind of love.
There's been a trend. I don't know if it's a trend, but you see young couples or young people that are getting married. We often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
celebrate 30-year anniversaries
yeah.
sometime. And what do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds? And especially, I don't know, is it expectations or is
Yeah.
it pressure to impress the in-laws? What's happening there?
The first is that we say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you love. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. So our background. So if you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our bringing has something to do with it. Number two, the context in which we live in has something to do with it. Um, we live in what we call a high sex environment, which means that we say men don't necessarily stick with one woman if they've got a lot of options. And if it doesn't cost them anything to be with one person. So if you've got a lot of options, you don't generally pick. And then the third thing I'd say is we have a lot of hurt people, right? So a lot of people, were hurt in relationships, hurt by their families, hurt. And then when you are hurt, it's very difficult to pour out your love because you are focused on your pain. So we have a lot of things like that. And of course, it's also a materialistic society. We don't look at people as partners. We see them as prospects. We see them as business opportunities. So in that context, when people don't have the skills, don't have the skills, the history, the preparation, then just because you had some event called a wedding doesn't mean that the marriage will work. And so what we need to fix then, it would be, we need to heal. We need to actually learn what principles actually make a relationship work. And I think if we do that, we'll have more successful and satisfactory relationships. So if you think about it, even in the book, in The Temptation of Mr. Married, it's a story about you find, for example, here's a man, he meets a lady, leaves her pregnant, and he leaves. And then here's this lady, she raises this child, and typically she raises this child through difficulty, but then she will raise her ideal man. So everything that she finds wrong with men, she'll try and correct with this young man. And so she'll pour into him. She will give off herself. Now he becomes a man. So, and there's this bond now, they are enmeshed. So you can't even tell where's the boundary between the mom and the son. And so, but in a way, this is actually like her husband. And now, later, this person goes to university where he works, he meets a lady, and he has a relationship. Now, the mom who invested all her pain, all her tears, has a struggle to let go of her son. And now the son must now choose. Do I choose my partner or my mom who can't let me go? And because it's enmeshed, he feels betrayed if he leaves his mom, and so he can't pick between his mom and his wife now. So if he wants to buy a car, he'll say, but he'll have to consult his mom first. Before he does anything, he'll have to consult his mom first, because she has, in a way, attached to him so much that she hasn't let him become free. And so you get men who struggle with that. You find they can't pick between their moms and their wives, and they don't know what to do. And then the relationship is in trouble because he needs to pledge allegiance to someone there for the relationship to work.
Showing me who raised you for me to sort of describe the type of person that you are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it a bit personal now. And coming to you as a man, would you say your upbringing influenced the man you are today? And maybe if there is, was there like a figure, like a male figure that you drew inspiration from to become the man that you are today?
I used to join a lot of men's groups, and I'll hear how men talk about their fathers, their mothers, and then I realized that there was something unique about me. I felt out because I was raised by my mom and dad, and so then I actually understand myself. I can see what I got from my dad. I can see what I got from my mom. And my mom and dad are still there. When I launched the book, they were still there, The other day I was going somewhere. It was a new place that I didn't know, but I was a little bit afraid to go there. And my dad said, I'll go with you, And so I've always had a man who backed me up. And I've always had a mom who I can practice how to connect, So I would say then my mom and my dad have influenced me. I have a good picture of a relationship. It's not perfect, but I think I had two people who loved me, and I knew that, and I can see that. And so I think that has influenced me. It influenced the partner I picked, because I see similarities, right? And so I can see how my background has made things easy for me. And it wasn't because, I'm this nice person who chose a partner. Well, I can see how my upbringing, my history has helped me become the person that I am today. It's something that we don't think about, and we don't give enough respect to, men and women trying their best to raise their children. And so I want to say to them, don't give up. Like, you keep doing your best. That's good. What I want to add is, but a human being, because you see, a person comes from two people, and there's a reason for that. In the first cause, you come from your mom and your dad, and you're also going to need them to live. Because, and why is that so? Because, men and women give different things to a child. A man typically systematized, so the masculine energy typically helps you focus on the world, on things, on achievement, on conquering the world. So you need that for your confidence. Feminine energy needs, helps you with intimacy, closeness. And so when you have both, then you are able to find a nice balance. So if you have one, so if you are typically raised by your dad, you might be very successful, but you might struggle with a coldness, a harshness, because you are a matter of fact kind of person. Now, if you're just raised by your mom, you might struggle with, just intimate things, but you struggle with industry, and so I would say, if you're a single parent, you do your best, but what you want to do is create a village. You want to create a village of friends, of coaches, of teachers, other people who are going to help you influence your child. I'd be very scared if I was the only one raising my children, because they'll gain all my weaknesses and all those things. So you want to be the parent, but you want to create a society and a network of people who are going to help you, inspire your child, inspire you to help you carry the weight. So, but you are doing a great job. Build a village around that, so we can help children succeed.
Where can we get the book?
The book will be in all major, outlets. To be on Take a Lot soon. It will be in the most reputable bookstores. I also have a website. You can also find it there on www.tabantlaka.co.za. If you go on that website, you'll find me on my socials. I'm there at Tabantlaka. If you go there, you can then have access to the book.
Our guest for this morning, his name is Tshanduko, an author, a clinical psychologist. The book is called The Temptation of Mr. Married. I cannot wait to read the book and learn a lot, because I'm a man and I relate to a lot of things that he was saying.